I just got chandelier blasting in my head. I'm so sorry. Is that so annoying to you when you hear Sia songs? Are you like, I can't
listen to them because I'm instantly doing the dances in my head.
Oh my God. I was just thinking about when, like for the first couple of years after Blurred Lines came out, if I was at a wedding or a bar, I would fucking hide. I would.
Do you still feel that way?
I get like a weird like prickle up my neck.
Yeah, totally.
Where I'm like, oh no, it's all I have to hear is the like dun, dun, dun. And then I'm like, shit.
I know. And you just feel everyone's eyes like.
I'm so excited. Maddie Ziegler. I've been such a fan for so long.
Really? That's so
Thank
sweet.
you so much for coming on HighLow. So let's start with the beginning. 18 years of your life, you've been dancing.
Yeah.
That's insane. How old are you?
I'm 20.
So you started dancing at 2.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about how you first started dancing?
Yeah. My mom put me in because she was like, you would look cute in a tutu. Her first daughter. She kind of was just like a gymnast growing up. So she put me in. And I guess I don't obviously remember this, but my first recital, my mom was like, I came off bawling my eyes out because I like wanted to go back on. Like I was just instantly like, that's what I need to do. I need to be on stage.
Wow.
And then I started competitively dancing at 4, which is like so young to put your kid in something like that. So like,
are there other 4-year-olds who do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I had like a whole group of 4. We were all 4, 5, 6. I was the youngest in my group. And then I was like the one there that was like, this is my life. Like I was that kid that was like, I need to do hip hop, ballet, like everything. I was like, I just had to. And then I'd like show scouted us when we were 6, 7. And I started doing that. So it was like my profession at the age of 7.
So you don't even remember a time before dancing? Like it's just your whole life?
No, I don't. And I also have blocked out so much of my childhood that I actually don't know what my life is like even just before working.
Whoa.
So like,
well, because you started working so young too.
Totally.
Is that weird?
It's so weird. It's weird to find out things that I did when I was younger on like TikTok. Like I'll see people posting things of me and I'm like, I don't even remember doing that.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's so
I'm thinking
weird.
about, I was just thinking about this with my son because he's 2. And like, I was like, we're not going to live in this apartment forever. I wonder if I'll have a memory of it. And then I was thinking about my own childhood memories, how like, I'm pretty sure I remember things just because I saw pictures and videos of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
I know. It's like, I don't know. They're even seeing stuff like that. I'm like, I genuinely don't remember, but it's like to see a visual of how it played out is like so weird.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Was there a point where you're like, is this what I really like? I'm still going to do this forever? Or was it always just been a part of you?
Yeah. I mean, I knew because especially too, when you're in a competitive like dance group, you're basically from when you start to when you're 18 and graduate high school is like when you graduate the studio, and then you go off to like want to do professional work, like be a backup dancer or like do Broadway. At the time when I was little, I wanted to do Broadway so bad.
Okay.
Now I'm like, I do not want to do Broadway, so it's so weird that was like what I wanted to do. But yeah, that was like the goal. And then when I was 11 and I started doing music videos with Sia, that's when I was like, wait, maybe I want to act too. Because I was like, I'm acting in all these videos. I've been playing roles in every dance I've done. And I've taken that so seriously, like diving into that at such a young age. So that was a shift for me. And I ended up only competing until I was 13, which is like not common for any dancer.
So you're like, no, actually dance hasn't been my life, even though I kind of think it has.
It is my life, but it's also like, oh, I can actually put energy into other things as well. It doesn't have to be one thing. And I think it was actually a lot of relief for me because I'm like, oh, I don't have to put so much pressure on myself to do one thing so good.
So was there a shift, like, were you like, okay, I'm no longer the 4-year-old who's like determined to do everything?
Yeah.
And like, were you mad at your younger self for being so like, I have to do everything?
It's honestly a struggle every day that I deal with. Not every day, but like even now I'm really trying to unpack like all of those, like my thought process when I was younger, also through my dance teacher, was like, you have to be the best. If you don't win, you're not good. And so that was like the mentality when I was so little. And I was such a perfectionist and I was so hard on myself. And now I'm trying to unlearn all those traits. And it's like it's an ongoing battle because I'm like, I'd like some of the traits that I have when I was little because I was so determined and I was like so strong, like headed about everything. But now I'm also like, hey, if I mess up, like it's not the end of the world. I'm going to continue.
When you were a little kid and you wouldn't be number one or like you would have a misstep, literally, were you just so hard on yourself? So
hard. Like it was the end of the world for me.
Oh my God.
And it's now, and two, it's so funny because in dance, like you work your way to get trophies and crowns their plastic trophies and crowns, where are they now? Like I'm
Right.
like, I don't want anything to do with them. Why was I working so hard for those things?
Yeah, but you've also built obviously a career off of like what
Totally.
you were doing as a little
Totally.
kid. So it would make sense that your brain would be like, no, we have to be the best.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting too, because when I was working on the show, like I was kind of seen as like the, I guess, lead dancer, or like the most well-treated dancer. But in a way, now looking back, and a lot of people have started to say this, it's like, whoa, she actually was like, had the most pressure on her, because she was like, you're my girl. So you have to lead everyone to victory every time, which is just like not sustainable.
When do you notice yourself like going to the perfectionism now as an adult?
I think social media is like a huge thing that I'm trying to like move past, and just being like, I just overanalyze everything. I think we all do with social media. I think too, like we're just mindlessly scrolling all day, and I'm seeing people that I look up to, seeing people who are so talented and beautiful and amazing. And I'm like, if anything, now I'm like, okay, it's so inspiring to see this, not like, oh, I have to be like that, or I have to live up to that, you know? So I guess that's something that I'm trying to like differentiate.
Right. Just like not be like to realize that those people are real people.
100%.
Because I'm sure there's so many people who look at you and your social media and are like, she's so perfect. And
Totally.
Then, yeah.
It's so weird how people, I just am so curious how people perceive me too. Because they've known me for like, since I was 7. And a lot of people still, when they meet me, they're like, I still think of you as a little girl. And I'm like, it's so crazy, because that feels like so long ago. Even though I'm only 20, I feel like I've lived so many lives.
Is that really strange to have the world kind of know you for this whole time and like to evolve in the public spotlight?
Totally. Totally. It's a really weird thing to grasp, because it's like they almost know more about my little self than I do.
Have you watched your little self a lot? Or do you stay away from it?
No, I like to watch like the dances and stuff, because I'm like, wow, it's just fun to see the growth as well. But
because you've gotten so much better?
Yeah. Or just to see even how I've evolved, like how I perform emotionally, all of those things. I'm like, wow, it's so interesting to see what I've picked up along the way. But it's really.
But you're not trying to watch like old videos of yourself and like get to know yourself the way that the public maybe feels like they do.
It's also interesting, because when I was doing the show in the first season, I mean, I was 7, there was male producers saying like, this is what you have to say. And I thought, I was like, my mom wasn't in the room. So I was like, okay, I just have to do whatever I'm being told. And so I would literally they would say you're the best, say you're better than everyone else, say blah, blah, blah. And so I was perceived kind of like a little brat in the first season. And I remember we watched the first episode at like a viewing party for like the launch of the show. And I just cried, because I was like, oh my gosh, everyone thinks I'm this bitch. Like, and I'm not, I'm 7. Like, it was so weird. And so I kind of, and it helped me a lot to be able to be like, I can say no. I can stand up for myself. But being so young, you don't realize all those things.
Of course not. I mean, sometimes I'll say somebody is an actual child when they're like 18, but totally. You were really a child.
Yeah, totally.
What did your mom think when she watched the premiere? Was she like, oh my God?
Yeah, I don't think we realized, and my mom too. It's really weird, because last year, my mom, I was having a really bad panic attack, and I called my mom, and I was just, things were coming up from the past, and she apologized to me, and she was like, I'm so sorry that I put you through that. And it's so sad, because it's like, she would never want to hurt us.
Of course.
But none of us knew how crazy it would get.
When do you think she realized that it was getting crazy?
We actually we did 6 seasons of the show. And so I got out when I was 11 or 12.
Wow.
And like,
it's a huge chunk of your life and your childhood. It's your whole foundation.
Yeah, totally. And she really like did everything to try and break our contract and pull us out, and eventually did.
Wow.
With the help of Sia, she helped us a lot too. But it was hard. But
because they basically had you bound in contract.
Totally.
Oh my
totally.
God.
Because we signed on for so long.
Right. It was like as many seasons as they want, basically, totally. I'm sure.
Totally. And we would do like, I don't know, almost 30 episodes a season. So it was like a lot of it consumed our lives. Are
you still close with people you danced with when you were young?
Yeah, I'm close with the original like cast, and we obviously we have such different lives. Like some of the girls ended up going to college and like literally living normal lives, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like so cool to see.
You're like, oh, that's so nice.
Totally. Yeah. But we always like keep in touch and support each other.
It's probably nice to like have that shared experience of what you guys went through and be able to.
We actually like only understand, like we're like, all of us, we're so different now. We're in different places, but we have such an understanding of each other that will never break, you know, like that feeling. And it's weird too to now hang out as like adults or like young adults without our parents. We're like, whoa, this is so easy.
Was it just all of you? So I'm trying to picture like, what was it like? Just a bunch of kids and then your
our
guardians.
Moms.
Oh my God.
Always. So like, it's so weird now. We're like, wow, it's so chill being without the moms. Like, it's amazing.
That's so crazy. But also you must like associate the moms with the, even as adults, you're like, where's Cheryl or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
That's so funny. Okay. With dancing now, what's your relationship to it?
This is something that I'm a little unsure of. It's hard. I have a lot of people that I respect that come up to me and they're like, please never stop dancing. Like that would be like the worst thing if you stop dancing. And it's like, oh, I feel that, but it's also like, okay, that's a lot of pressure. I think acting has become kind of like the forefront of what I love right now. I'm just trying to figure out how I would dance because I danced, you know, like did the show, whatever. And then I danced with Sia for 6 years. And then now I'm like, how would I incorporate that into my work?
What does that even look like as a career path?
And I love performing. Like I just performed at Coachella. Labyrinth like brought on me and Sia for like one song. And it was just so fun. Like the feeling I had when I got off stage, like it is such a high. And I hadn't performed in 4 years.
Wow.
And so it was like very emotional for me. But I love it was such an incredible experience just to feel the energy of like people watching you on stage. But yeah, I think like now I would love to, like I did West Side Story and that was so fun because that was basically just dancing.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I have to differentiate acting and dancing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Sia. Obviously, she came into your life and kind of rocked your world. And
she really did.
How did that all come about for somebody who doesn't know?
Yeah, she was a huge fan of the show I was on. And she tweeted me when I was 11 and was like, I'm obsessed with you, be in my music video. I didn't know who she was. We got in contact with her people and I literally flew to LA 2 weeks later and filmed the music video, Chandelier.
So she's like your godmother, basically, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She really felt like a guardian angel to me, like at that time. She like saved me from like the show and everything I was doing. Like it was such a like wow, I couldn't believe that she came into my life and I was so grateful. And I think now looking back, I really am able to understand like all that she did for me and
especially how getting you off the show and being able to.
Oh my gosh.
So what was it like working with her? I mean, again, you're a child, but you're given this like huge responsibility. You became a part of her identity and her act and her performance.
Yeah.
Did you understand it?
I did. The first video, I was like, you're not in it? Like, this is just me?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I don't show my face. And then after we did that, we were going to perform on Ellen. And she was like, will you be in my next 2 videos and be my muse and do everything with me? And I was like, yeah. Like I was 11. Like I was like, yes.
And what did your mom think?
Everyone was so stoked.
Yeah.
Like it was so funny too, because I remember after I filmed the music video, I came back to my studio. All my friends are like, oh my gosh, you filmed a music video. Like, what was that like? And I was like, you guys, no one's gonna watch it. I was wearing a wig. Like it's really weird. I was dancing not how I normally dance, like all the things, and changed my life. Like literally.
Is it strange now to be a little bit older and have the perspective of like being like, oh my God, like I was 11 years old and I became the muse for a pop star?
It's so wild. And for her to like just put all that trust in me is so crazy.
Have you ever asked?
She apologizes to me. She was like, I just feel like that's so much pressure. And I was like, no, that was actually like seriously some of the best moments of my entire life. Like genuinely, when I look back, like that, most of my career highlights were from that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, we just put so much trust in each other. Even like, it's just so rare for an artist to like put the dancer first. That's so not the case normally. Even when we went on our world tour, like she stood on the side of the stage and I was like, I had the whole stage to dance, which is just like so crazy that she did that.
What was it like being on tour as a kid?
The best. I was 13, like on a tour bus. I had the best time ever. I loved it so much. I was doing school still while I was like on tour, but I had the best time. We had a few other dancers with us and they were just like, they were older than me and I just looked up to them so much. And I was like, this is just the best experience of my life. Like,
is there a part of you that's like, oh my God, I've done all of this as a kid. Like, what's next?
Totally. That's why I'm like, I've lived so many lives because I'm like, I've done so much already.
Like, you've seen so much of the world.
Totally. It's so crazy to wrap my head around because I'm also in a phase right now where I'm like, I feel like I'm starting over in a way. And it's so interesting because I'm like, I've lived so much, but I have so much yet to do. Like, I feel old, but I'm like, I am so young. I'm a baby.
No, you have your whole life in front of you. It's so exciting, but it's also kind of daunting too. What about career-wise? Like, I know West Side Story was kind of this big moment for you. You said it was just dancing, but obviously it's a Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah. Was that kind of what kicked off the interest in acting? I know
the Sia videos is when I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. She like really helped me figure out that that's what I wanted to do. And she didn't intentionally do that. It just like happened. But, and then I started auditioning when I was like 11, just started doing like random like Disney appearances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we all do that.
I mean, I did iCarly.
I was just going to say, I saw that clip on my TikTok yesterday of you on iCarly funny. And it was so cute. I loved it.
It's so funny because that felt like really random. I was in high school and then, just went to do like 2 weeks on the show. It wasn't even that much. And it's like, I'll never not be Tasha to some people.
100%. It's so cute. Did you audition for that?
I auditioned for iCarly. I remember going in and at that point I was like doing tons of random auditions and I thought I was way too cool for like Disney or Nickelodeon.
100%.
I was like 17 and like smoking weed and had a like skateboard or boyfriend. And I was like, I don't fucking do Nickelodeon. Like, who knows what I wore? Stop. And then they did a callback, and then I booked the job, and my parents were like, "What the hell? Like, you're in school." So we got out of it, and my dad had the best time. Like, my parents were not stage parents at all. They both were working, but like, he was obsessed with it. He was like, loved like the gaffers and like the crew.
100%. It's such a different world for any normal person.
No, my dad was like, "What the hell?" And we were living in San Diego, so we'd like drive up and back.
Right.
For 2 weeks. But for me, it just seemed like a little gig. And I'd never watched iCarly. I knew it was a big show, but like I never watched it.
It was like the show.
It was the show. So I just had no idea. And then, now I'm like, I'll just forever be Tasha. But I kind of love it because there's obviously like the blurred lines thing was the thing that really like, like, you know, a music video.
Totally.
Put me on the scene. And so I like that there's something that I can like be like, no. This predates this.
I was
already hustling. I was already, you know, because I think a lot of the times maybe with you, it's a little different because you were on the show, but I'm sure you've experienced this. Like for the, you know, 3 things that people see you doing, there's 300 that you didn't do.
100%.
What's that been like for you? Like, I think especially if you're a perfectionist and you learn that so young, the rejection part of it must have been really hard.
So hard. I still get rejected like with auditions. Like, and it's so hard when you get so close to the end of something that you want so bad. And then you're like,
this is it.
And then you're just like, whew. It's like such a weird feeling. But I've learned like, if I really like a project, I like kind of keep it to myself. I kind of internalize it. And I'm like, I really like this, but I'm not going to say it because I'm like, I don't want to get too excited. Totally. Get my hopes up. But also it's like, it's whatever's meant to be is meant to be. Like if there's something that I was really close to getting and then I go to the theater and watch the movie that I almost got and I see who did it, I'm like, oh, that made sense. Totally. Like and I'm learning like, I get so happy for other people, especially like some of my friends, we audition for the same things and we're all like, we hope you get it. We hope you get it. Cause it's like, if not us, we won't one of our friends to do it. Yeah. Totally.
No, I think you have to develop that attitude. I had this thing, I think I had it when I was like 16, the superstitious thing where I wouldn't tell, even once I had shot it, once I'd booked it, I wouldn't tell people about
until it was out,
because I'd experienced things where like, you know, I'd done it and then like the scene got scrapped or whatever.
Which
and
happens
just
a lot.
So much.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the other part of it of being like, this is going to be so great because everyone who's obviously working on the project wants to believe that, whatever. And then you see it and it sucks. That's bad.
100%.
That's not great.
It's not a great feeling. But it's also like, we as the performer or whatever is like, we think it's so much more of a bigger deal than it really is. Like we think it's a 10 when it's really like a 6, you know?
Yes, totally.
Like,
I think it's true. Also, it's really important and it's great that you know this going into your 20s because I feel like I learned it like around your age was that just like what you do career-wise isn't your whole life. It can't be your whole life.
It's not. And that's why like I always am trying to put energy into other things, like side things, just because I'm like, it's not sustainable to only like want something so bad when it's like that there's a whole other world around you. Like
I just can't, it's really nice to hear that from you, but it's also amazing to hear that from you because if it's like, that's something you learned so young, it's so hard to unlearn that.
Totally. And I think it is just coming from my perfectionism. Like that is just not sustainable and something that it's not worth the stress. I look back at clips of myself and I was like constantly biting my nails, constantly shoulders like up all the time, constantly like just like stiff, like always just like on edge. And I'm just like, that's just
as a little girl.
Yeah. And I still have moments of that at times. And I'm like, okay, just try and like shake it off. Cause it's
do you go to therapy? Like okay.
I'm like very actively in therapy.
I am too. I love therapy. It changed my life.
It changed my life.
When did you start going? Can I ask?
Yeah, I started when I was probably 12.
Okay, so your mom got you in.
Yeah, my mom put us in. I went through a few therapists and like now I feel like I've really found my therapist and I truly love her and I shout out to Celia. Love you
shout out to Liz. I always am talking about Liz.
Yeah, like it's so incredible. Like also it's so important to talk to someone that's not in your circle. Someone that has no perspective, no aspect of like their insides of your life and you can just like actually be fully transparent all the way.
100%. I did therapy later in life and it totally transformed like the way that I relate to people, the way that I see myself and just even the relationship with her is so healing.
Yeah.
Like what you were just saying, like the way that she doesn't have context and the perspective and you just have this like hour where you really like are opening yourself up and building this trust with somebody and taking their advice.
It's beautiful. It's also like really nice to be able to be like, okay, I'm feeling this way because of something that happened 7 years ago. You know, it's so amazing to connect the dots and be like, oh, this is why this hurts so much, or this is why I'm feeling this way. Like it's amazing to see what kind of like brings you to that point.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like people talk about their like childhood trauma. That's like what you do in therapy is figure out your relationship to your mother, your father, yourself. And you have so much to like look at. This like really rich experience. And that's also documented and like publicly witnessed. And that must be, does your therapist like say, has she watched your videos and stuff?
Not like, I don't know. I think she's seen certain things, but I'll like send her things.
Yeah. That's how it works with my therapist. She's like, if anything ever pops up, I don't look at it. She like laid the ground rules really early. She was like, but if there's something you want me to see because you're proud or because it's important to have context for our next session, whatever, I'll look. Yeah. Which I also love.
Same.
Like, I wish I could do that with the world.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Being able to like pick and choose.
I'm like, you only get to see this. You don't get to see that.
Totally.
So what was it like working with Steven Spielberg on West Side Story?
Oh my gosh, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I was so nervous. I was 16 and like one of the youngest ones there. And he was just so sweet and like collaborative and just wanted everyone to feel good. And I think he too, like, I mean, he has loved West Side Story forever. And so it was like his baby being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. And I remember when we were filming like the big dance at the gym scene, he was like at the monitor just jumping up and down and dancing and like crying. Like it was just like, he was so proud of it.
Yeah.
It was so inspiring to see someone like at that level feel like a little kid again and just feeling like this is the coolest day ever.
I went to his daughter's wedding And it was so cute. He was on the dance floor, like with his iPhone, shooting like horizontal,
He
like
does that.
making a video of like his daughter.
That's so cute.
And it was just the sweetest thing because, you know, it's like what a dad would do, but it's fucking Steven Spielberg.
Like literally. And it's almost kind of more like wholesome in a way. I don't know why, but like it's just to see him there like with the phone getting the angles is like, it's such a trip.
Yeah. He did that on set when he was setting up shots.
Always.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute.
He's a really lovely person.
He really is. I'm just like happy to be there. Like,
but I also like know you work your ass off.
Totally. And that's the thing. I am when I work because I've done so much work to get to where I am.
Yeah.
But like me as myself, aside from like the dancer or like the hard worker, is just like, I just want everyone to be happy. Like that's literally how I am.
Do you have a crazy work ethic?
Sia always makes a joke. She's like, she would live in a bubble if she had to. Like, that's just how I am. I've always been that way. I'm always
live in
like,
a bubble of like working and just
like, I'm always like, I'm fine, whatever you need. And she's like, she would literally live in a bubble. That's what she means by that. I just have always been that way. We'll do it, whatever it takes to get the perfect shot. Like, I've just always been like that. I love to be at work. I love working so much. Like,
why do you think that is? Do you think it's just natural or do you think it's because you worked so much as a kid?
I think both. Mm-hmm. I think it's all I know.
Right.
So yeah, to an extent is like, it's just like, I've just inherited that trait. Like, but at the same time, I just genuinely love working. When I'm not working, I'm like, I know how to chill now. I didn't when I was younger, but I do get a little stir crazy after a while. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Oh my God, totally. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Like I spend one day not working and I'm like,
so what are we doing?
And I'm thinking about work anyway. And yeah, it's really hard for me. I really like have that hustler mentality.
Totally. Do you feel like having a kid though has helped you like totally
It has helped me be more present, but I also, I almost feel like more pressure to like provide for him and build like a future in a way. Before it was like, I was just like looking out for myself financially and everything else. And I definitely, one of the things I work on in therapy is a scarcity mindset of just feeling like the world's going to end and that I need to like, this job is going to be the last job and then I have to like do everything right now.
Yeah.
So
like fight or flight. You're just
And I think just also just being like, it's just never enough. Like even when I, get to a certain point, I'm like, there needs to be more.
Yeah.
Are you like that?
100%. It's such a weird, I feel like all of us in the industry, it's like, we'll never be satisfied.
Yeah. It's funny because I think about that a lot. Like nobody ever wants to talk about money, obviously, which I understand. And
totally.
There's
it
like
is such a weird,
it's such
topic.
A weird thing. But I think Gabrielle Union was just she was like, I still am like financially insecure.
Yeah.
Because it's just in my mentality.
That's
I still feel that way too. I'm like always thinking, my ex used to joke with me that like, I feel like I have to have like a box of money underneath the bed to like make sure in case like everything else goes away. And so I think that hustling mindset comes from that.
Totally.
Is that how you are?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. I don't know why. My parents never talked to me about money either. Like it was always a weird thing. And it's weird now. And I'm sure you feel this way. It's like so weird when now you're kind of the one providing for the adults.
Yeah.
It's like such a weird concept. And it gets kind of weird. Like it just does. But I love being able to do that for my family. Like so much.
Me too.
Like
I like it's a security thing for me, you know, and I just love being able to like provide a lifestyle for the ones I love in general.
Totally.
Even like my close friends and like my best friend and I like have a swimwear brand together and like I'm able to do that with her. Like
I love your brand, by the way.
Oh,
I've bought a few swimsuits.
Oh my God.
They're so good. Giving myself like props. Like that's hard for me to do.
That's really hard for me to do too. How are you doing that? Give me your
tip. It's so hard.
I find it like embarrassing to even talk about.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. It's so hard. Even like with my therapist, I get like nervous talking about it. And she's like, it's okay. It's just me and you. Like,
so do you think that comes from just like always wanting to grow and be better?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And that thing of like feeling like you're never satisfied.
Yeah.
And just feeling comfortable in yourself. Like, I think I am secure as a person, but I'm also like, it's so easy to focus on the negatives of yourself. Like, so easy.
How do you do that with like the internet? and the whole world watching.
It's so hard. I'm having such a like interesting time right now with like posting just myself. Like I used to love taking photos and doing all of that, and now I'm like, I feel like weird doing that.
How come? Like,
I don't know why. I think too, like now I think a part of it is everyone knows me as a young girl. So now when I like, if I want to take like a more like womanly photo, it's like a weird battle. But I'm like,
because people's reaction to it is,
because I think I'm just like, oh, I'm still a little kid in their eyes. But I'm like, okay, that's actually just not realistic. Yeah. And it's not about anyone else but myself.
Yeah. Is it weird to like have that part of you that is aware of what you should be for people?
Totally. And I'm just trying to break that because it's just like.
But I feel like you also have been embraced like by people your own age who grew up with you.
Totally.
They're like, yeah, she's one of us. And I feel like I see that on TikTok a lot. Like everyone was like happy to see like Maddie as an adult.
Yeah, totally. There is a lot of that.
Do you like TikTok more than Instagram, or how do you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much more.
I noticed you posted like a couple dances when you first got on, but you haven't really been now. How do you feel about TikTok and dancing?
It's funny because I like to do the dances on my, like, if my friends want to do it on their pages, or like my sister wants to do it, but on my page, I'm like, I don't know why. I'm just like, I don't think it's for me.
Because you don't want to be like a TikTok dancer?
Not necessarily. It's just like, if I'm going to dance, I'm going to dance. Not like, but I love doing the TikTok dances. I think they're so fun. It's just that also that feeling of like, oh, I'm have pressure to like be the best at the dance trend, which is not true. It's just like my own internal thing.
Wow. So you're just like, I can't even play this game because I'm going to get competitive in some ways.
Totally. But like,
so it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not as fun.
It's instantly not fun.
Totally. But like, I love watching people do dances on TikTok, even like non-dancers. I'm like, it's so fun to watch.
Oh my God. I'm so incredibly bad at dancing. It's really...
I've seen your dance videos and I think they're so cute. Like,
thank you so much. I love dancing.
Watching them.
I love dancing for sure. But like, it's so interesting with choreography. My brain like has a hard time. It's just the way your body communicates with your brain. And like, that is not a skill that I ever developed.
It's okay. You have so many other skills.
Thank you so much. And I just do it for fun, which is like why I like it. Somebody wrote on like one and they were like, why is she doing this? And I was like, because it's fun. Like, it's obviously fun. Yeah.
It's not like you're trying to be like a professional dancer.
Absolutely not. My best friend was like, if my 12-year-old self had known that as an adult, it's acceptable to film videos dancing and get dressed
100%.
up, like she would be so proud of me and so happy for me.
I love that.
And I was like, it's so true. Like the fact that you can like make skits as an adult, and like for me it feels like playing, which I really like. Yeah.
I really love how you use social media. I think obviously this is our first time like actually talking and meeting, but it feels so authentic to who you are. Like what you put out. It doesn't feel like it's anything else other than just you.
I go through phases with it though. Like I feel like I was in like, there was a time where I was like, I'm literally embarrassed by the idea of just putting something on the internet felt immediately cringe. I was like, this is so obviously desperate. And so there was a phase where I had that. And then I feel like in the past like 6 months, I've been like the opposite, where I'm like,
I love that.
Who fucking cares? I'm going to put up literally whatever I want and not think about it. But then I'm always, as I'm doing that, I'm like, oh no, the next phase is coming where I'm going to look back and be horrified by everything I posted.
Yeah.
But I just think that in general, what I've learned, and maybe this is a good kind of takeaway from our conversation, is like, don't be so hard on yourself and like live.
Totally.
Live.
No, it's really nice to hear that too. Cause like, and nice to know that everyone is feeling that.
Oh my God, totally.
Because it's so easy to like, from afar look at your page and be like, wow, she just is so not scared to be herself and do all the things. But it's like, it's crazy when you actually think everyone is like internally going through.
Yeah, because I think when people think about that, they're thinking like, oh, you don't like that photo or you won't like that photo later or whatever. But it's more like the vibe you're giving and like how personal you get, how not personal you get. And then figuring that out, which can be like just weird. Like I went on a trip to Miami and I was like, do I post these pictures from Miami? Like I like them. I had pictures of my friends that were the same and they post theirs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do it. But then I was like, is this weird for the brand?
Totally. Totally.
It's such a strange thing to have your business and personal so tightly aligned.
I agree. It's so, and it's weird because they don't have to necessarily be like differentiated. It can all be one entity. And, it just live how it go, like how it is.
As long as you're protecting yourself and you feel good and you're not like sacrificing it.
Totally.
But I think, I mean, you're obviously an example of somebody who's like grown up in the public eye. We're all going to have to get used to evolving on the internet.
Yeah, totally.
That's just the reality of our existence.
Yeah.
You know?
And this generation especially is like, that is our lives.
Yes.
Like that is where everything lives. It's so crazy to think before social media, how people promoted their brands and their films and everything that they did, their music.
I know.
All of that is like
so different.
So wild.
Yeah. But it's also funny because it's not even just for people who want to be public personas. It's like any person, even if you work in an office and you don't need to whatever, you're still deciding to post things and not, and like building an identity out of yourself. Yeah. And you're probably going to, if you are born today, you're going to do that your whole life. And you just have to accept that you're not going to probably love everything you put out there.
Totally.
We are basically at the end of our time. I wanted to ask you some like rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What's the last thing you liked on social media?
Oh my God.
You can just be whatever you remember.
Any food video.
Oh.
Obsessed.
Are you are you a chef?
I'm absolutely not a chef.
Okay.
Basically what I do is I go to all my friends' house who are amazing at cooking, and I make them make me all the meals that I see on.
That's so funny.
But I'm trying to learn.
What are your icks? Can be whatever you want. It can be with a guy or not.
Oh my gosh. I think like a huge ick is just like ego. That is like the biggest ick to me.
Hidden talent. Do you have a hidden talent?
Oh, I don't know if it's necessarily hidden, but like I love to paint and like do pottery.
That's hidden, no? Do you post about it?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I've really gotten into pottery and I really love it.
Do you do do you have a wheel or?
I don't have one personally, but I go to a studio and do it. But I do want to get one. Cool. I think it would be fun in the summer to like do it outside.
My dad did ceramics growing up, and so I like threw pots in. It is so relaxing.
It's so fun. And it's also, I'm such a like, I love being clean, but it teaches me to be like, okay, I can get my hands dirty.
Oh my
God,
fine. You get so dirty.
Totally.
Your clothes are like
totally.
hot.
But I like it. It forces me to like actually live in like discomfort for a second.
Okay.
Which I like because I'm such a clean freak. So it's
really?
So
wow.
Like everyone calls me Monica, like from Friends. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so not that way.
Really?
Yeah. Is this go to your perfectionism?
Yeah, totally.
So is your room like perfect?
Like my cleaning lady comes over and she's like, I have nothing to do. Like
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
What's your sign? I hate to be that
Libra.
bitch, but okay. Yeah.
But I'm on the cusp. I'm like the start of Libra. So I do think the like perfectionist, like very like.
It's Virgo, right? Well, you would be really upset if you came to my house. I try so hard, but I'm messy.
It's fine. But the thing is, I'm not like grossed out by people's messes. Just personally in my own space, I love to have it clean. But I also am that friend, like if I came to your place, I would try and help you clean. Like,
no, it's good. I have friends like that, and I so appreciate it because you like closet clean outs.
Yeah,
and
I love it. I love
I'm,
all of that.
So grateful. Okay, personal theme song. This one's tough.
Oh, this is so tough.
It can even just be something you've been listening to recently, whatever.
Oh my gosh, this is a hard question. Personal theme song.
I just got Chandelier blasting in my head. I'm so sorry. Is that so annoying? When you hear Sia songs, are you like, I can't hear
listen
this?
to them because I'm instantly doing the dances in my head.
Oh my God.
We can say Chandelier is my personal song.
No, I'm so sorry. I totally took that from you.
No, that's amazing.
I was just thinking about when, like for the first couple of years after Blurred Lines came out, if I was at a wedding or a bar, I would fucking hide.
And do you still feel that way?
I get like a weird like prickle up my neck.
Yeah, totally.
Where I'm like, oh no, it's all I have to hear is the like dun dun dun, and then I'm like, shit.
I know, and you just feel everyone's eyes like.
Yeah, it used to be much worse. Now that doesn't happen, thank God. And like also the song doesn't play as frequently.
Totly.
But there was a minute there where I had like PTSD like correlation.
And you're like, oh, I'm like working. Like,
but I always thought about that with musicians because I was like, oh my God, like this is like if you're somebody who has a hit song your whole life. So it must be like that for you with Sia's music.
Totally.
Wow.
Totally.
You never like put Sia on casually.
No. I mean, I will listen to her music sometimes, but like I love her old stuff as well. Like Breathe Me is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Okay. I don't know if I know enough Sia.
Oh my gosh. Go back to like that. I mean, all of her stuff is amazing, but like some of her old music is so incredible. So emotional, but like,
cool.
Yeah, so great.
Biggest regret?
I think my biggest regret is taking things too seriously. Like still now. It's not necessarily like a regret, but it's just something that I wish I put less pressure on.
It seems like you're doing a really good job, like trying not to be that way anymore.
Yeah, totally. And also I just got a tattoo that I kind of regret.
What's your tattoo?
I have little tattoos everywhere, but I got one tattoo and I was being a little bold and it's way bigger than I thought it would be.
How big is it?
I'll show you after, but it's like just on my side. Everyone loves it. And I'm like, are you just being nice?
What is it?
It's like a woman figure.
Okay.
It's really, I'm obsessed. So Dr. Wu does all my tattoos and I literally am such a fan of him. Mm-hmm. It's not that I regret the tattoo itself because it's so beautiful. It's just, I think I got a little bold with like how big it is.
How big is it?
It's like that big. It's
so
not
like
that
4
big.
inches. Yeah. I have a recurring nightmare where I'm covered in tattoos. So
stop. Do you have
it's
any?
Anxiety. I have one that I got when I turned 18 and I like left my parents' house. That's like a kind of like for the house I grew up in. And then me and my 2 best friends all got slide tattoos for my son.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know. It's really funny though, because I got mine on my foot and they got theirs on their arms and mine has it's wearing off and theirs is.
They're like, we've committed more to your child than you have.
And I'm like, okay, so my 2 best friends have like deeper slide tattoos than me.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it's cute though. I'm going to get it redone anyway.
Or like put it on your arm or something.
I know. I was like, I mean, it's crazy. I see that theirs all the time because they're like right there. And mine, like you can barely see. Nobody's like, one time a guy tried to literally clean it off. He thought it was He thought it was like dirt on my foot.
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, no, that's my son's name. And he was like, oh, wow. And I was like, it's kind of falling out. So I have to get it fixed. Yeah.
Funny. Do you feel like for work too, you don't do the tattoo thing?
Yeah, I also, I at a very young age was like, knew that I was going to be changing a lot in my life and evolving. And I feel like it really scared me to like have markers of whatever. Like I think even when I got the one when I was 18, I was like, this is for like the end of my like life with my parents and like the house I grew up in, which I'll always be happy to think about. But in my 20s and stuff, I was like, I don't like need to remember this time forever.
Totally.
So because I do think I associate it so much. So that's why I haven't gotten tattoos. It's not that I don't like the way they look or anything like, but yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. I've only gotten tattoos that mean something to me. Because for that reason, I'm like, I can't really.
Yeah, it's just like, it's going to be a marker in time. And like, there's times that I do want to remember and times I don't.
Totally.
So yeah, like remembering after my son was born and like me and my friends having this like feeling of like, this is our baby and like the sisterhood and whatever. Like, I'm good on that. You know, like I want
love that.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to see everything you do. I feel like personally and professionally, like you're starting out on a journey and it's going to be beautiful to witness.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.